Hello, everybody.
Hello again, Mr. Hussein. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
All is cool. How's it going on your side?
Good, good.
All is cool?
Yes.
Did you start preparing for your exam?
To be honest, I will start prepare.
Yalla, great. I am here. I'm always here, huh? Whenever you need me, just drop me a message and you'll find me always there.
Sure.
السلام عليكم.
Great. وعليكم السلام. أهلا مستر
كيف
محمد.
الدكتور؟
حياك الله مستر محمد يوسف. كيف حالك؟
الحمد لله رب العالمين.
كله تمام؟
نحمد الله رب العالمين.
إن شاء الله.
حسين.
ها؟
مرحب، كيفك محمد؟ شو أخبارك؟
الحمد لله رب العالمين. والله مفتقدكم كثير والله.
والله أنا مفتقدكم جدا يا شباب.
مفتقدكم كثير والله.
تسلم، نحن بالأكثر. لنا الشرف بمعرفتكم.
والله احنا بالاكثر. نشكرك باشمهندس. مهندس محمد فارس، كيف حالك؟
والله الحمد لله في خير ونعمة. شو أخباركم أنتم؟
والله تمام، مشتاقين. أمورك طيبة؟
والله الحمد لله بلشنا شوي هيك إن شاء الله عازمين الشهر الجاي نعدوا إن شاء الله.
Great, bravo. So great guys, I'm going to go through the names to say hi to everybody new to the sessions. I am Jaser Mustafa and I am a PMP trainer, and I have my my course participants attending this class, which is an honor to me as well. And I have new people here in the session, like Mr. Ahmed SH, Ahmed Miqdad, Miss Ala or Mr. Ala Sharqawi, and Mr. Sayyid just joined. I think Mr. Bilal or Bilham, Mr. Ili, Mr. Fakhri, and Miss Florina, Mr. Hani, Mr. Hussein, Mr. Karam Habibi, كيف حالك? Inshallah you hear me. Great. And Mr. Khalid, and Mr. Mani Mars, Mr. Denis, he is the speaker of our session. Hello Mr. Karam, كيف حالك؟
تمام الحمد لله. الله يسعدك.
حياك والله. شرفتني اليوم في السيشن.
يعطيكم العافية.
الله يعافيك.
أنا خالد.
أهلا خالد العقدة صح؟
سؤال، أنا طالب خريج، بضبط أضل ولا
بضبط؟ إيه؟ إحنا كلنا بنطلع وأنت بتضل. أهلا وسهلا.
الله يسعدك.
حياك.
كل اللي هون مهندسين صناعيين يعني ولا؟
لا من كل التخصصات. هذه بروجكت مانجمنت سيرتيفيكت.
هندسة صناعية عملنا.
حياك الله. هذه مادة اسمها Project Management Professional. It's an international ranked certificate. People are always chasing to pass the PMP exam. So we are trying to help people to know how to prepare for the exam. This is one of the sessions.
تمام.
حياك. And Miss Mayada as well, and everybody here guys. I cannot go through all the names, so let's start our session. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to introduce our speaker for today, who is Mr. Denis. First of all, we are going to say congratulations to Mr. Denis, who just passed his exam of the PMP recently from the first attempt, which is, to be honest, made me proud. And I'm usually getting speakers from my courses to talk to people or to students who are attending my courses. So I believe it is from students and for students as well, which is, I believe, it's also closer to students' situation, even if they are, let's say, with 20 or 20 years of experience. So this will help them a lot to understand how other guys are getting past their exams from the first attempt. And please excuse my English language because I'm not a native speaker, so if I make some mistakes, please don't count on that. So, Mr. Denis Mata is a project management professional who has recently got certified. He is here in Qatar and he's a mechanical engineer. He's a member of the Philippine Society for the Mechanical Engineers. He just got his certificate in PMP after finishing his course and preparing for the session and the exam, and he will be telling us many points about how his journey was. His experience is in many fields like telecommunications, power and generation and utilities, petrochemicals, and he had got some variety of roles like operations and maintenance, plant management and planning. He is Mr. Denis Mata and he will be taking the microphone starting now until the end of our class. And after that, inshallah, we'll open the floor for the audience to ask whatever they feel that they want to know more than what is mentioned in the session. I would highly recommend, guys, if you mute your microphones during the session, and I will be facilitating the question and answer session after Mr. Denis' session. Mr. Denis, please, go ahead.
Hello, good evening everyone. How are you today?
Great. We would appreciate if you open the camera so we can get to know you better.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me open the camera first.
Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Great.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? All
It's
is
nice
good?
it's nice to be here with you all today. And I would like to share my presentation. I prepared a short presentation for you to know me initially, and I will tell how I passed, how I prepared, and what is my journey here in the PMP exams and PMP course itself. As Mr. Jaser said, I'm a mechanical engineer.
Sorry,
I've
Mr.
been,
Denis, we are still not seeing your screen. Can you share it, please?
Okay. 1 minute.
Great. Great, we see it now. Go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah. Okay. As I was saying, Jaser told I was a mechanical engineer. So I think that's it from my side. If there's any questions, I'm available to answer the questions.
Great, great, Mr. Denis. Thank you so much for the information you have shared with us. And now we are going for the questions and answers. I will start to motivate people to start asking. I would ask you if you remember how long did the exam take you to finish or to complete the total exam?
The total allotted time is around 240 minutes, I think.
The total is 230, the full amount of time. But did you consume all of them?
Yes, but I consume only. I finished that 30 minutes early.
Great, great.
Yes, yeah.
So you could manage your time easily, and this is one of the points that people, to be honest, find difficulties in managing that. So you have managed your time easily, which is great, and I do recommend everybody to make sure that they pay attention to time counters.
Yes.
So I think Mr. Bilal has raised his hand.
Yes, good evening, and congratulations for you passing the exam. I just have one question. Did you allocate certain number of hours to study? How many hours per day did you study?
Actually, due to my workload, to be honest, I did not allocate a certain amount of time per day because of my workload. I'm at work 12 hours in a day, so I start my work at 6 o'clock and I end at 6 o'clock in the evening, morning to evening. So I allotted minimum 1 to 2 hours per day. But to be honest, sometimes I was not able to follow that one.
Great. And was that happening every day, Mr. Denis?
Because in the mock-up exams, when you start the exam, you have the option to pause.
Yes.
So I took a lot of questions. Maybe if I have more time, I answered a lot of questions according to my time. Then I just pause the exam. Then I come back to it later.
Great. Great. Thank you, Mr. Bilal, for the questions. Very important. And guys, I would highly recommend you not to fear from the exam because Mr. Denis has a 12 hours shift of work. And he did it by allocating 1 to 2 hours either daily or bi-daily. So it's not an impossible mission to be completed. Any other questions, guys, before I ask my question? Who's interested? Go ahead, Mr. Hani. Mr. Hani, you raised your hand. You can open the mic and go ahead, please. not sure if you can hear us, Mr. Hani. Okay, any other questions, guys, until Mr. Hani solves the problem? Mr. or Miss Ala or Ala? Go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Alaikum salam.
Excuse me, I need to ask regarding if you get any email before your exam to register, or directly you will open your website. What the procedure? Because my exam also coming next week.
You will see in the PMI website the status of your exam. Did you have a scheduled exam now?
Yeah, done.
Yeah. You will see in the exam. You will receive. I don't remember if I received an email, but I monitored my schedules through the PMI website. It will be in the PMI website.
You keep tracking before the exam to know the procedure exactly before the exam itself starting.
Yeah, you can. The procedures you can see it in the PMI website. Actually, you can see it now in advance. It is always there. The information is always there.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
But before you start your exam, before 1 hour, you get one email from PMI themselves.
You don't need that email. You can just use the same email you have already received once you booked your exam, and you can access from there to your either PMI dashboard or the third-party proctor exam. You're taking the exam online, right?
Okay.
You're taking the exam online at home?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that's the process. You just open the same email. You go to the PMI dashboard. You can find the place where you had the email, the exam schedule. You just click on that. It will transfer you to, I think, Pearson, the name, the third party.
Yeah.
And you have to test your system upfront. So don't wait until the day of the exam. Try to test the environment, your laptop, the internet connection, the camera connection, the microphone, and the system will tell you if everything is okay. You can use the same system on the exam day. On the exam day, you need to access that same email and same location of whatever the links you have clicked upfront, maybe 30 minutes before your exam, and they will be asking you to download a certain application on your mobile for ID verification and identity verification. They will ask you to upload your document on the application, and then you will be transferred automatically. Definitely you will be scanning a barcode on the screen. It will connect the application to the screen, so they know that you are identifying yourself. You upload the documents, you take 4 photos of the place where you are taking the exam. Make sure your desk doesn't have any obstacles. You don't have any mobile or something personal in your hand reach, so everything is out of reach. Just keep the mobile near to you, so if they call you, you can reach your mobile. So those are the tips, and make sure that you are always within the camera view.
Okay. Noted.
For me, I prefer to do the exam in the center or.
You can do it. It's easily done in the center. Don't worry.
Yes, because the internet connection sometimes it's cutting and coming back.
You're right. Yeah. But Mr. Ala Sharqawi has already booked his exam online, so he's asking how he can track when the exam is and which links to access. So if you
even if you book online, you can go to do it in the center, or no, you have to book on the center.
And I believe in the center. To be honest, I didn't have that dual option, so I'm not sure if this is applicable or not. I will be making sure of that, and I will share the information with you guys.
Please.
Great. Mr. Ala, you still have any doubt to clarify?
Yeah, one more question. Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Once I online with the exam itself, okay, can I read the exam by my lips?
No.
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 I should keep silent without any moving.
Yes. No voice, no reading out loud. Don't raise your voice. Don't talk to anybody within your room. And if you come closer to the screen or very far from the screen, they will be sending you a message to make it comfortable and to sit fairly within your screen range. So you are not allowed to raise your voice. The only sentence that you can say during the exam, if somebody accesses your room, you can just tell them, please, I'm writing an exam, please leave. That's all.
Also, cannot move your hand, put on your head something.
لا عادي if you are doing this, it's okay. But don't do it frequently and don't يعني force them to doubt your movements. يعني do the exam easily, comfortably, make yourself comfortable, and do the exam as like any other exam. They just want to make sure that you are not cheating.
تمام شكرا.
Great. Mr. Sayed, go ahead please.
Hi, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And like my question is like, did you follow any other material or any other mock online, or it's just Mr. Jaser's material and mock?
No, I just followed the PM book, number 1, the book, and the 3 mock-ups that I purchased from Mr. Jaser. Only that. I concentrated on those materials only.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Great.
That's more than enough, because there's a lot of questions. Those are very, very valuable questions that are there. That is enough.
Very good. Other questions, guys? Go ahead, Mr. Muhammad Faris.
Yes, first congratulations. I just want to ask about the quantity of agile questions in the exam compared to the waterfall questions.
Sorry, can you say again the quantity of?
Agile questions comparing to the waterfall questions on like a quantity basis.
Yeah, he is asking about the percentage of agile questions against other environmental practices. How much agile, how much traditional?
Actually, I lost track counting, because it is not one group of agile, one group of traditional. It is a mix. So I to be honest, I lost track counting. I did not count.
Yeah, but
it is a mix.
I can help on that if you allow me, Mr. Denis. Usually, guys, it's 50 to 60% agile questions. But one or some of my students were telling me that they have got 80% agile. So please focus on the agile practice, agile management, agile team members, agile meetings, and agile retrospectives, iteration reviews, daily stand-up meetings, spike, iteration versus increments, all of those. The role of the Scrum Master, the role of the product owner is very important, and the role of the sponsor and the client for the agile. Those topics are highly recommended to focus on them. Great. Mr. Ili. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Mr. Ili, go ahead, please.
Yes, first congratulations again.
Thank you.
My question actually, it's did you have something like, once you started the exam, did you have something you wish you knew before starting the exam? Just like when you started, you thought, maybe I wish I knew this before. Do you have something like this or something you can share with us?
Actually, to be honest, no. I'm satisfied with my preparation, because I just go through the mock-up multiple times. I just analyze more. I just wish that I had more time to study. That's my only wish. Aside from the questions, there's nothing more I had.
Great. Mr. Ili, and I have an input, please, Mr. Denis, allow me to answer as well.
Yes, please.
For me, I didn't have anybody to tell me about the online exams, guys, about having that online exam in my own space and on my own computer. So once I wrote the exam, I started running the system on my computer. I had a strange issue that I have to stop all Autodesk softwares, or something they call like Autodesk Desktop Connector. And I tried to reach that on the processes on the task manager. I could not do that. So I removed all the setup of all the Autodesk softwares, and that did not solve the problem. And I tried again to access the same name that they were mentioning until I reached that, and I could pause or stop or freeze that process on the task manager. Then the system could run. So the thing that I would like to mention, that you need to check if there is any firewall restrictions on your computer, to check your internet connection, and to check that you don't have any dedicated or plugged in microphone within the computer. You have to have that built-in laptop microphone, or you have a built-in microphone within your PC, or the camera that you are connecting to the PC. I use this one, guys. So fortunately, this one has a microphone. So I had to remove the microphone. They forced me to remove the microphone from the computer, and I was using a personal computer, a desktop. So fortunately, this camera had a microphone. Otherwise, I could get my exam terminated. So those small pieces of information I wished I could know before having the exam. But alhamdulillah, after writing the exam, I could figure out all those problems, and usually I'm telling that to the students. Great. Other questions, guys? Mr. Hani, you can write your question in the chat box because you have a problem in the microphone. If you write it in the chat box, I will read it for you. Other questions? We are here. The floor is open, guys. You can use the chat box and you can use your microphone. Mr. Ala, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. Excuse me, I need to ask you regarding once you do the markup questions, as what you mentioned, what the scores that you get once you do the simulations for the exam?
So, I did it multiple times. The first time I tried, I got 55 first time. And the scores, it went up as I understood the concepts. It went up sequentially until I passed.
Great. So you passed with an 84%. My mockups are 84%, the passing grade.
Yeah.
I'll go to Mr. Mujtabi question. Did you go through the 6th edition book?
No, I did not go through the 6th edition.
Great.
I concentrated on the 7th and the mock-ups only.
And by the way, guys, he concentrated also on my materials, right? My materials are mentioning the topics from the 6th edition book which are needed for your exam. So great, he has covered the material. For Miss Florina, she's asking when you finished the course. He finished in May. And how did this change your practice? How did this change your practice, Mr. Denis?
Practice at work?
Yes, practical.
Actually, I finished, I started May. I finished this August. And right now, I have a better understanding now of the ins and outs of these processes. As Mr. Jaser told, this project management is not applicable only to a certain type of industry. It is applicable to all industries. So I try to relate what I learned here in project management to my current role, and I found out that I can apply more concepts now in my work.
Great.
Today, yeah.
Great. You are from construction company, right?
No, oil and gas.
Oil and gas. Great. From oil and gas. Very good. Mr. Sami, go ahead, please.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. My question here, did you feel there is big difference between the simulation exam and the physical exam? If there is a percentage, if you can tell us about that.
Yeah, actually the mock-up exam, it actually very, very similar. I can say 95% similar to that of the mock-up, to that of the actual exams. The concepts are there. 95% are there. In the mock-ups, there are some calculations. In my exam, there were actually no calculations required. That is the only difference. But
yes,
most of it is there. It's actually there.
Yes, great, guys. You need to know that the calculations are minimal if you get any question for calculations, but you need to understand the numbers behind calculations. If they tell you, for example, SPI is 1.2, you need to know that your project is behind schedule or ahead of the schedule. You need to understand that meaning. If they tell you that CPI is 1.3, you need to know that you are on a cost overrun, or you are within budget, or you are below budget. So you need to know the meaning of the numbers, because you as a project manager is going to build your decision based on the numbers. So the question will not ask you to calculate the number. They will be giving you the situation where the numbers are given, and they will ask you what is the best action to be done as a project manager to solve this situation. So the thing that you will need to understand the abbreviations, you need to understand the meaning of the numbers, so you know what is the situation and you know what is the solution of that situation based on the numbers that you have. So they are measuring 4 skills instead of measuring how you calculate the number. Great.
So one question.
Yes, Mr. Sami, go ahead, please.
In PMP book, I think you are referring to PMP book and the simulate exam.
Okay.
So in PMP book, what exactly you are focusing so you can, there is a benefit from the PMP book?
Okay,
you are focusing on it or?
For me or for Mr. Denis, the question?
Both of anyone can answer.
Okay, Mr. Denis, if you want to add anything for the question.
Okay. I concentrated on the PM book mainly because the modules are based on that one. So if I need some explanations aside from what is there in the modules of Mr. Jaser, if I want more information, then I go back to the PM book, 7th edition, and read thoroughly.
Great. And for me, guys, the material is built based on the 7th edition because it's the latest content material from the PMI, and I am diving thoroughly deeper into the project management from the perspective of the development approach, people leadership, and relationships among the projects, stakeholder management, and agile practice versus traditional practice. Definitely, we connect it directly to uncertainty and risk, which you will have good portion of questions on risk in the exam, and change order processes, how you go through the change order process, which is also a good area to be asked about in the exam. I wish I answered your question, Mr. Sami.
Yeah, thank you very much. One question for you, Mr. Jaser.
Yes, please.
For Agile, there is any material you can provide, or in the course there is more details with
the course
on the next courses?
The course will discuss hugely or deeply the agile practice, and if you are going to look for extra material, there is a PMI agile standards or agile practice standards or fundamentals. You can go through that material also. It's a good source of information. I can send it to you as well, guys. Don't worry. Great. Mr. Sameh, you raised your hand.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I share my experience just for 5 minutes? It can answer a lot of questions for everybody here.
Please, go ahead.
First of all, congrats, Mr. Denis.
Thank you.
Hope you will achieve it more now and you will succeed in your career, inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I attended for this exam 6 months ago, and I failed. This is one of the real experience, a real example in the real life. I was concentrated in the predictive approach in PMP book 6. Unfortunately, it was totally different than the actual real exams. So when I met Mr. Jaser, I purchased his simulation, and it's like more than 95%. It's matching the exact simulation that you will find in the exam. The exam itself, it's not talking about the predictive approach or agile approach. It's a mindset, a concept of understanding. You need a guy who can explain and to direct you to understand the concept behind the project management. For a predictive, as I remember, for this one, he asked about how many questions regarding calculation and equations. I remember I received only 2 questions. It's required a calculation. It's not a calculation, it's very straightforward. SPI, earned value, what you understand from this question. It's only 2 questions of the 180 questions. The scenarios is totally different. You have to control your timing because under stress, after like half an hour and 1 hour, you will find that you are losing your control because there's stress. I recommend to take this 10 minutes for refreshment. Whether you have to just sit in the seat, but take it because the stress is too much. Second, you have to control and to manage your timing. It's very important. As Mr. Dennis he mentioned, if you didn't understand the question in the first time and the second time, skip it, flag it, and go to the other one. Later on, you will find some certain or easy question. This will be covered when you come back for the long understanding of the questions, so you can recover the timing, but don't lose it. For me, I didn't follow up these instructions. I didn't follow up this guideline, so I lost. I didn't finish the exam in the time. Maybe I left like 15 questions, and then, or maybe more than this, maybe 20 questions. So this is my recommendation. And for the guys, they want to take it from home. Just, you have to understand that the proctor system, they are very strict. Even when, for example, you are smoking, they will ask you to turn off the cigarettes. They will not allow you to smoke. So you have to, even though, to understand the environment at your home that you will attend it, because you will spend like 3 hours or 3 hours and more than in the exam. Just I wanted to share my experience, and congrats, Mr. Dennis. And I recommend, and honestly, don't check out of YouTube or tests or simulation in the internet, because it will mislead you. It will mislead you. The simulation that matches the simulation that present from Mr. Jaser, this is the way that you will find it in the exam. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sameh. And I wish you a very, very, very soon success in your exam, inshallah, once you take it again.
I'm planning after 3 weeks, inshallah.
Inshallah. If you need any help or support, I am here. I am your friend.
I already purchased your simulation. I started to achieve like 50% or 60% scores. After that, I just attend another simulation, and I start now to achieve 80 and 85%. So I believe I'm ready. I am ready, inshallah.
Inshallah, you will pass, and you will share your certificate with us, and you will be our next speaker in our next session.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
For the percentage of the questions, more than 65 or 75 of the around 70% of the questions will be like an agile mindset.
Yes, 100%. Yes. Great. Thank you, Mr. Sameh. Thank you for the input. We have a question from Mr. Don. Do we need to upload any training certificate in order to apply for the exam? I think you can answer, Mr. Denis.
No, I did not upload anything.
Yes, you don't need to apply, or you don't need to upload your certificates. Once you apply for the application for the exam, you will only need to upload them once you are audited. But the PMI is asking for the course certificate as a mandatory requirement. They don't ask you to upload the certificate. They will ask you to add, I think, the name of the training center and the date that you have taken the course. But if you are audited, you have to provide that certificate that matches the information that you have mentioned in the application. If you fail to apply or to provide those information, you will be banned, I think, for 1 year or 3 years, I'm not sure. So please make sure that you are honest in your application, but write your application using the mindset of the PMI and the PMP, and using the latest updated material, vocabulary and way of explanation of your project management experience. If you're applying for the exam, you will write your experience. They will ask you for 3 years of experience if you are with a bachelor degree or 4 years degree. So if you are adding 3 years of experience, it's highly recommended that you mention the latest 3 years of experience, because if you are audited, they will ask you to provide experience letters from the companies that you have mentioned in the application. If they are very old experience, like 20 years ago, we are mentioning an experience since 15 years ago, I think it's not easy to get back to that company to get that certification letter and to get that reference of the guy who will be making sure, or who will be proving that you have that experience. So please make sure that you mention your latest experience in the application. Great. Any other questions? Great. I believe to this extent, guys, we did not finish. We have a question from Miss Sarah. Go ahead, please.
Hi, sorry for the last minute question.
No, that's okay. Go ahead, please.
I just want to ask, should we mention only one project or multiple projects? What is better? and when we are applying?
I believe I have to take this question, Mr. Denis.
Yes.
Great. So, Ms. Sarah, if you are mentioning experience, there is no differences between mentioning one project or more than one project. And I think from my experience, it's better to mention 2 projects. So you can make different experiences with different responsibilities, but please make sure that you're doing that in a correct way. If you need any support, finish your application. Before submitting that, send the application to me. I will be reading that for you guys, and I will be replying to you if it is good to submit or you need some improvements. I'll be telling you that. If you are fine with what you're writing, just submit, and inshallah you will be getting acceptance from the PMI. Is it good, Miss Sarah?
Yes, thank you very much.
Great. Any other questions, guys? Please feel free to ask. Me and Mr. Denis are here to clarify all of your doubts. Great. So, to this extent, guys, we are done with our session today. I would like to thank you all for attending, and I would like to thank Mr. Sameh for his input, and definitely congratulations from our hearts, Mr. Denis, and thank you so much for sharing this valuable information. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I wish everybody the success in the future.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Great. Guys, inshallah next time we'll have too many other sessions. We'll have other passing PMPs, and we'll have also Mr. Denis as a guest as well. So if you follow up with us, inshallah you will get all the information you need, and all of that will be for free and free of charge. It's only volunteering from our participants